Embla presents A Summer on the Riviera, written by Rachel Barnett and read by Gloria Sanders. Chapter 1. Bella glanced around the cabin. It was smaller than she'd imagined, cramped, and she wondered why she hadn't realised she would be sharing with another member of the crew. At least there was a porthole in the room, a tiny oval of blue light. Dumping her rucksack on the lower bunk, she sank down beside it and took a deep breath. This was really happening. A new job, a new challenge, maybe even a new life. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. One of her brother's favourite phrases chose that moment to pop into her head. If Jay had said it once, he'd said it 1,000 times, and she wondered how much of her decision to change direction had been to do with him and his encouragement. Several years' worth of covering every aspect of hotel work, working silver service dinners and fine dining occasions at the Magnolia, then for the last couple of seasons managing the entire waitstaff and catering department, hadn't exactly felt like living outside anybody's comfort zone. Not to Bella, anyway. Unless you counted an early brush with disaster when she was almost fired for speaking to a guest as she served their potatoes. While she had spent years folding napkins and arranging petits fours, dealing with last-minute staff illness and guest tantrums, her brother, they weren't biologically related but had been adopted together, had nearly finished medical school. Although his route into the medical profession hadn't been easy and finances were tight, he had brains to spare and was loving life at London's King's College. Their parents were puffed up with pride at his achievements, and she could understand why. Jay's star was set very firmly in its ascendancy. More than that, he was working towards something he'd always dreamed of achieving. Meanwhile, Bella had become very proficient at keeping her mouth shut while serving potatoes. To her credit, she could manage even the tiny baby new ones covered in melted butter and sprinkled with the most delicate strands of chopped chives, despicably keen to roll away from her spoon and fork combo. Catching them up into groups of 5 was harder than it appeared. It took skill, as did placing the treacherous little marbles on each plate in exactly the same spot without dripping melted butter onto anyone's Jimmy Choos. But was knowing a tureen fork from a cake fork, and having an intricate knowledge of the difference between the shapes of red, white, and dessert wine glasses really something to write home about? The thought that being able to head off a staffing disaster due to an outbreak of flu, accommodating last-minute menu changes from demanding diners, and sitting behind a desk ordering Cavallo Nero and new tablecloths might be the sum total of her worth had become unsettling. Continuing at the Magnolia while the years spooled away into the future couldn't truly be the way she wanted to spend her life. It was ironic, really, that while her parents had done everything they could to help Jay fly the nest, Bella had been left with little choice but to stick around, ignoring a deeply embedded yearning to travel. To see the world, not just the view from the Magnolia's sun terrace. Burying it deep because there was no way she would ever manage to earn that kind of money on her hotel salary, and fully understanding there was no way she could ask her parents to help support her when every spare penny was already winging its way to help with Jay's living costs, which was why landing this job had been such a dream opportunity. Was it possible today was the start of more than a new job? Could she unpack more than her belongings and begin to believe she had discovered a way to earn her way around the world, or at least the parts of the world that butted up against the sea? A plink from her mobile had Bella checking her messages. This one was from Jay, suggesting she was going to kill this new job, and he wasn't the slightest bit jealous of her. He took great pains to explain how little he cared that she was sailing around the Med for the summer, getting, as he put it, an epic tan, while he would be spending every waking hour in scrubs, bathed in artificial strip lighting. She began to type a reply. "You can't leave your stuff there, that's my bunk." The unexpected voice made Bella start, her finger slipping across the screen as she looked up to see a lean blonde woman, hands on hips and standing firmly in the doorway, a proprietorial expression on her face. "Yours is..."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?